Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple calculator app in Applab which can do simple calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Yeah, so let's get started. But before you start, please don't forget to like and subscribe this video. So let's get started. As you can see, I've already made the design for this. I've put two labels in the home screen and a button which will take us to the second screen, which is this one, and it has four buttons which will take us to the other screens. So in total, you need to make six screens. Yeah, so I'll go to the code part and I'll just code for the first screen. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you when we click on these buttons, they will take us to these screens. Like when we click on the addition button, it will take us to the addition screen where we can add, we can do our calculation. Yeah, so I'll just code for the first one. So I have to put on event. The ID of this button is button 2. So on event, button 2 is clicked. When the button 2 Oh yeah. When the button 2 will be clicked, if click function it yeah. But before I fill in this, we have to make four variables. Var four variables: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So var addition is equals to 0, and we'll just assign them a value of 0. So var subtraction is equals to 0, and var multiplication is equals to 0, and the last var division is equals to 0, equals to 0. Yeah, so now as you can see, the four triangles are coming. Yeah, and I will tell you these will get go away in some time when we write the whole code. So I'll just fill in the on event. So when the button 2 is clicked, it should take us onto the next screen, which is this one, and the ID of the screen is asking screen. So I'll just write set screen, which is set screen asking screen, and don't forget to put semicolon in the last. Yeah. So now we'll code for these four buttons: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So I have to again on event. The ID for this button is button 3. So on event button 3 is clicked, function. Yeah. So semicolon, and inside I'll write set screen. It should set screen to the addition screen, which is this one. This one. So I'll just do it for every button. So I'll just copy and paste this. Okay. The ID of the subtraction button is button 7. Yeah, but don't forget to change the button ID. So when it is clicked, it will set the screen to addition screen. Again, the ID for the multiplication button is button 8. So I'll just change button 8. Yeah, and the last button, which is a division button, it should set the screen to the and I'll change the screens. When the button 7, which is the subtraction button, it should set the screen to the subtraction screen. Okay, and the button 8, which is the multiplication button, it should set the screen to the multiplication screen. Okay, and the last button, which is the division button, should take us to the division screen. So I'll write this here, division screen. Yeah, so now as we can see, I'll just run it, and when we press the start button, we are here on the next screen. When we press addition, we are on the next screen, which is the addition screen. Now we have to code for these back buttons so that we can go back whenever our calculation is done. So I'll just code for them. So I'll just paste again, and the ID for this button is button 16. So I'll change the button 3 to button 16 and set screen to asking screen, which is asking screen. Okay, again copy it and paste it, and same for the subtraction screen, which is button 18. The ID of the button is button 18. Button 18, and it should set screen to the addition screen or asking screen. Asking screen. Yeah. So again for the multiplication screen, and the ID for this one is 17, button 17. So I'll change the 3 to 17, set screen to asking screen. Okay, and again last button, which is the division screen button, the ID for that is button 11. I'll change it to button 11, and it should set screen to asking screen. Yeah, so now these all are done. We just have to code for the main things, which is the calculation, how it should do the calculation. I'll just explain it to you. Like it like in the addition screen, it should get the number from text input 1, and the computer will automatically add it with the number which is in the text input 2. When we press the calculate button, the result will be shown here on label 5, which I made. I'll just show you this one, this label. Okay, so I'll show you how to code. Yeah, but before this one thing, I also need to show. In the subtraction screen, I've written bigger number and a smaller number. Because if I write bigger number here and smaller number here, it would show the result in the minus. I'll show you after the code. Okay, and in the division also I wrote dividend here and the divisor here. Dividend is the one which is divided, like 20 divided by 3. So 20 is the dividend and the divisor is 3. Yeah, so now I'll just start the coding part. For the addition screen, I'll just again paste this, and when the calculate button is clicked, its ID is 12. When the button 12 is clicked, okay, I'll just remove the set screen. Okay, it should, yeah. Remember we made 4 variables earlier in the video. Now we're going to use them. Addition, var, remember we made var addition, so now we're going to use it. Addition is equals to get text, yeah, get number. I forgot. Get number, because if we put text, it won't work. I'll show you. Get number from text input 1. It should get the number from text input 1, and then add it with the number we put in the text input 2. So I'll put a add sign and get number from text input 2. Text input 2. Yeah, and a semicolon in the last. So yeah, and yeah, so the computer would get the number from the text input 1 and add with it with the number in the text input 2. And now we have to make it show the result on the label which we put. So the ID of the label is label 5. So I'll do set text label 5 label 5 addition. So we assign the value to the variable addition. So now after that when it calculates when it adds both of the values, then it will automatically set text in the label 5 to addition. I'll show you just a second. We press on start, we press addition. I write here 12 plus 12. We press calculate and here is a result 24, which is absolutely correct. I press go back button and here we are on the previous page. So I'll just put the same for the rest. So I'll just copy it, paste it here, and now I'll have to go to the subtraction. Yeah. So as I told you before, I'll just go for it. When the button 15, so the button 15 is clicked, it should get number from the text input 3. Okay, text input 3 and subtract it by the number it gets from text input 4. Okay, so like 4. Ah, and yeah, and I'll change the addition to subtraction. Subtraction. Okay. So so yeah, so it should set text to label 7 because the label for this screen is label 7 to subtraction. Subtraction. Yeah, and I'll show you this why I told you earlier to put a bigger value upwards and the smaller value in the down. If we put a smaller number like 3 here and 20 here, it would show the result in minus and we don't want that to happen. So that's why I put bigger number upwards which is 20 and the smaller number in the down one which is 3. Then we press calculate and we got a result 17 which is correct. We want that only to happen. So it's correct. And same with the division. Copy it. Paste it. Now we have to go to the multiplication screen. When the button 14 is clicked, it's the button 14 is clicked, multiplication is equals to, I'll write multiplication, multiplication is equals to, it should get the number from text input 5 and multiply it by the number it gets from, yeah, and the multiplication sign in these devices is the star sign. So I'll just write that number from text input 6. But as you have seen, I haven't written text bigger number or the smaller number because we can multiply in any order and add also in any order. Like 12 plus 3 is 15 and 3 plus 12 is also 15. Same with multiplication. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6 and 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So it's the same. So we don't have to write bigger number or smaller number. Yeah. So the label ID for this screen is label 9. I'll just change the subtraction to multiplication. Multiplication. Yeah. And another thing, if you are making this, don't try multiplication in inverted commas, or else when the result comes, it would just write here multiplication, which is not what we want. So I'll just copy it again, paste it again, and now I'll have to go to the division screen. When the button 10 is clicked, it's the button 10 is clicked. So division is equals to division is equals to get number from text input 7 and divide it by get it should get number from 8, text input 8. Yep. So and the label ID for this screen is label 11. It's label 11. Label 11. Then it should set this text it to division. Division. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just show it once in the blocks. In the blocks. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Okay. This is how it looks like. And as we can see now, the triangles are no more here, as I told you before. So we'll just check it here once in the bigger screen if it's working. Okay. Just this. Yeah. So everything's just fine. And make sure if you there's a tip, and make sure you are putting here get number. If you put get text, it won't work. It would just do like this. If we write in the addition, rest will work. But if you write get text in the addition, it won't work, because it would just if we write 12 upwards and down it will write 12, it will just write 12 12, which is not what we want. So I will just view this if it's working. Go to addition, write 12 here plus 13 and 25, which is absolutely correct. Go back button. Yeah, and bigger number, which is 12 minus 3, 9. Yeah, and if we put 3 here and 12 here, then press calculate, it will show our result in minus. That's why I have written bigger number and the smaller number. So multiplication. Now 12 multiplied by 2, which is the correct answer. 24 is correct. And now we go to we write 20 here and 2 here. And the answer is 10, which is fine. Yeah, and I'll just in the division screen, I'll go in the design mode, just drag its label a little downwards. Now it's absolutely fine. So as you can see, today I showed you how to make a simple calculator app in code.org Applab. So yeah, and then if you haven't subscribed and liked to the video yet, so please don't forget to like and subscribe it. So I guess that's the end of the video. So adios.